Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Cobb Logic. Here with my boy J Dog, just a talent, you know what I'm saying? One of my best friends growing up. We've been friends for about 9 years now, so I know a lot about him. He knows a lot about me. He's been featured in my other video. We went to the Waste Management Open. That was a fun little video we made. So
always good conversation, right?
Yeah, always. You know, that top notch, you know what I'm saying? None of that surface level. Y'all know what it is. We don't do that surface level. So we're back with another fun video. The topic is toxic relationships. So this one will be pretty interesting, so you don't want to miss it. Keep watching, stay tuned. What you gotta do, go get your popcorn, go get your little drink or whatever you need to do. So yeah, this will be a cool video.
Blast that shit back if you blast.
Speaking of drinks.
Hey, you already know what's going on. I was trying to segue us in there. So our last video we did together, we came up with this idea of like, hey, man, take shots before we get into the video. So without further ado, the finest, you know, that salted caramel Crown Royal, you feel me? That's the kind of drink that make it go like that.
Man, dude, I'm the worst at taking shots still.
I'm not too bad when I get a couple in me. Right into the video, guys. So today, we're talking about toxic relationships. So before we can jump into a topic like this, I believe it's important for us to have a pretty good understanding of what a toxic relationship is, especially to help our viewers out a little bit and to give our definition of a toxic relationship. So do you want to start first?
Yeah, man, I'll start. Absolutely. Right, cool. So for me, a toxic relationship is a relationship where someone is kind of bringing you down, you know, very negative. It's kind of putting you in a position to where you're not feeling like your true self, you know, and you're constantly having to like battle every day, like with either it's a person normally, whether it's a friend or family member. It could be really all of them.
Right.
But just like you guys are just trying and you're trying to like make it work, but it just doesn't seem to
not working.
Yeah, it's not working.
If I had to define a toxic relationship, it'd be something where, like you said, it doesn't have to be just, you know, like an intimate partner, but it could be like a friend, like we're friends, or like a family member as well. I definitely feel it's a relationship where one of the parties isn't valued, treated as if they're not important, which is obviously a no-no. You want each party to feel like they're treated fairly and that they're both contributing to the relationship.
Or like someone's opinion is stronger than yours.
Right, yeah.
Or like
they try to make your feelings,
what they want to do is more important.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they try to make you feel like, you know, whatever you're feeling is invalid,
right,
or like you don't matter, then you're definitely in a full-blown toxic relationship. And we're gonna help you get out of that and try to help you identify that. So
relationships, they need to be 100-100.
Right, exactly. You want to explain that?
Yeah, so like 100-100, man, what that basically means is each side, it's not 50-50 like most people think. It could be one day where someone's at like 30-20%, right? And you're at that 100, well, now you guys are at 130%. You know, like there's days you gotta pick somebody up, but if you're 50-50, that person's say at 20 and you're at 50, that's technically the max, right?
Right.
That's like 80-70%. Like that's not a full-blown relationship. You know what I mean? So
it's just a different way of looking
at
it.
It's a different way of looking at it. You know, you want to give your full self to each person, and like you guys both have to pull a little weight.
I agree with that. Like you don't want to, you know, you don't want to come with half of you and then, you know, have them come with half of them. I want to give all of myself to have them give all of themselves. Yeah. So, you know, we can come up with the best.
Because then there's 50 bad and 50 bad.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Then what? So now we're gonna kind of go into some identifiers of a toxic relationship, and we both have had toxic relationships in the past. So we can definitely give some input on this and maybe help you out and steer you in the right direction, and help you avoid toxic relationships before you even get to them. So
we're talking about indicators now, right? Like an indicator of a toxic relationship. One of the big ones is you know, your friends and your family.
Right.
Like it is so important. I took it for granted multiple times. Like if your friends and your family are like, hey, you're in a this relationship you're in,
Right.
it's probably not a good thing.
Right.
Or, you know, like whether that's literally a friend or a girlfriend.
Right.
Like both can understand and both can
Exactly.
see that. And if your friends are like telling you, hey man, you know, like they're probably not the
Maybe
best
she's not
for
the
you.
one.
Yeah, or hey, you know, I don't really want to hang out with you, you know, I don't really like her. Like,
Right.
that's kind of a sign. A lot of people kind of combat that and be
Exactly.
like, well, you just don't know her
Yeah,
or
you
this,
just,
but
you just gotta give her time.
100% listen to your
Right.
friends and family because at the end of the day, like,
They know you.
yeah, they know you and they're looking out for your best interest.
It's not like they're gaining anything.
Right. So that's like a big one for me. What about you?
Definitely have to agree with that one. Hint, hint. If they come at you with like, "Hey, like, I don't want to tell you what to do. Like, I'm just a friend outside looking in," you already know like you messed up some kind of way. So that's an indicator right there. Justin's been my boy for like 9 years, and I know him pretty well, and he knows me. When like he brings someone that he is starting a relationship into the room, I can like sense, you know, like.
Yeah.
This is gonna be good or this is gonna be really bad. But I can tell right off the bat, like, because I know how he is and I know the type of people he surrounds himself with. So like I can tell pretty quickly. But an indicator for me, they're quick to blow up on you. Like they're like, you know,
Like
you
quick
could
to
do
blame.
right. Yeah. Quick to put you down, I should say. So like you could do something so small and irrelevant, and they just blow up like it just. Like ridiculous. You're just like, whoa, dude. Like what? Like seriously? They make you feel like you're like not important. Your feelings aren't like worth it.
Yeah.
One for me is I've never. Excuse me, that shot's trying to come back up. I don't know if I like
Keep it
that.
down, little boy.
But I've never grown up. I've never been one to be, you know, like called names or like put down. And that's one thing. Kind of touching on something we'll talk about a little later, but. That's one thing like I can't stand is to be called like names by someone that's supposed to like love you or like care for you. So if you're being called names, like negative names, disrespectful names, that's definitely an indicator right there. Because if they really cared for you, they wouldn't want to put you down. Like they wouldn't want to make you feel like crappy. And obviously them calling you names is for a purpose. Like they're not calling you names to make you feel good. So I don't know.
They're
That's
not nice names.
Right, yeah, they're definitely not nice names. Did you have any more?
I think like the other one too is like kind of how you feel, you know? Because
Right.
like a lot of people will kind of deny how they feel about
Right,
like,
exactly.
in the relationship. They'll be like, "No, man, I'm good. I'm great. You know, it was good
Yeah.
like 2 months ago, dude. Like we just got to get back to that. Got to get back to what it
Right.
was. Man, that 2 months is going to turn into 4 months.
Right.
It's going to turn into 6 months. Then
And
2
then
years later, you're
you're
going to
just
be in this
stuck in the
whole
cycle.
relationship and it's just going to rut, right? So noticing too that you are in a bad place. Like, hey, this isn't the person that
Right.
I want to be. Like I want to be
Exactly.
someone different. Like I want to be either happier or, you know, not sad or not in this situation.
Right.
Like, if you feel that way, then man, that's the first sign of
Right.
it at all. It could just be as silly as like, man, like whenever I'm around this person, I'm just really sad.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
I just get really like it's just a cloud of sadness just hits me whenever I come
exactly
in the vicinity of this person.
Exactly. But yeah, that's a big thing. It's just really recognizing yourself because you know yourself best.
I'm a firm believer that like any relationship you encounter or start is for a reason. You know, good or bad, you should be able to learn something from it. The last video I was talking about failure and how like it's not really a failure if you learn something from it. Right. So like I could be in an abusive relationship and turn it around and make it a positive thing where I learn from that and use it in my next relationship.
You learn that you won't stand for that.
You learn that
Yeah.
like you're worth it and you don't need to tolerate that type of behavior. So yeah, I definitely believe that like, you know, everything happens for a reason. You encounter people for a reason, even if it's just for a small period of time. If you've been in a toxic relationship, that doesn't mean, you know, you're a horrible person or you just don't know how to, you know, pick relationships. Maybe you just needed to learn something. So like I feel like my exes or my past relationships or just friendships that I had that were like toxic, I've learned a great deal from, and I'm definitely using them in my relationships now, and it's helped me as a person to see how I'm treating, you know, the other party in the relationship. Am I being, you know, present with them? Am I investing enough? Am I listening? Am I understanding what they're saying? So like little things like that. So like being in a relationship where it was toxic and maybe you were on the bad end of that relationship, you know how it felt to receive bad treatment, I guess, from the other party.
Yeah.
So so you know what was missing, and you know how to make sure it's there for your relationships then on. So I don't know. That's something. That's a couple things that I take away from toxic relationships. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into some of those stories. I definitely have a few, and I if my exes are watching this, I'm not trying to put you on blast. I won't even say your names. All right, so
just know we learned a lot from you. Thank you.
I do appreciate you. I do.
I hope you're doing well.
Bless up. Go ahead and just tilt this.
What I wanted to start off with is like a friendship. So like the first thing a lot of people think when toxic relationship is like, oh, my girlfriend, boyfriend, right? And you're like, man, like that's not always the case. Like, I got this friend a little bit before high school. You know, it was a great kid. One of my best friends up till maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, really just a solid dude. And through the years, you know, we were always close, always tight. He was there for me, I was there for him. Type of thing. It was great. But then you know what? It got to a point where like whenever I was around him, I felt like I was sad. So like when I was going through like my lows in life, you know, I surrounded myself with a person who was low as well. It was just like, man, holy cow, like I can't get out of this rut, dude. Like we would just sit there and talk about how sad we were, right? About like whether it was a relationship, mostly it was relationships. We just fed off each other's sadness, and it just made us even more sad. And so it came to a point where it's like, man, you know, like in order for me to be happy and grow as a person, I have to say bye. Like, it's not that I don't want to. Like I still love that person. I still cherish him.
And it's not like you're being a dick or anything.
Right, exactly. Like he's still a good person, but like right now, it's not good for me.
Right.
Like I'm trying to move forward in life and like be a positive person, be happier, kind of get out of that rut. And if that person isn't willing to do the same, then that's how you kind of know.
Right. That's how you know for sure.
100%. So if he's sitting there sad all the time, you're like, man, like I'm tired of being sad. He's like, yeah, me too. But he's doing the same crap every single day. And you're like, man, dude, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. And he's just like, yeah, man, but I'm so sad. Like, dude, like
he wants to be stuck in that sadness.
And man, I mean, and it's hard. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people where like I want to uplift people around me. You know, I want to make their situation better. And there's sometimes where if you can't even help yourself, you can't help other people.
Exactly.
And so in order to kind of get there, like I had to step away, and I had to kind of realize like, hey man, like you're my friend and all, but like we just need some time apart. We're still friends, we're cordial, but like not as tight as what we were.
Right, exactly.
You know?
That's saying a lot about you to be able to identify that and be like, hey, like look, dude, like you know, we're both kind of in a bad place. I'm trying to better myself. I would like to help better you too, but like it doesn't seem like it's working out. So like I need to go and do my own thing. So I feel like that's great for you to be able to identify that and walk away and do what you got to do to better your situation.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And like that guy helped me through a ton. And just in life in general. But like, at the end of the day, like you can't. It just is what it is. But,
and like even some of the, you know, the strongest relationships you have, sometimes see an end, and like if it's gonna benefit you to walk away, you gotta walk away. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it was tough for you. You guys were like pretty close and whatnot.
It is. And you know, like I wish him nothing but the best. And I always I think about him all the time. But you know, at the end of the day, like we're gotta just live our own lives. Well, what about you, man? What's one of that?
Man, do we want to get into this? There was a girl that I was like in love with, and it was one of those things where like I would do anything for her type deal. I knew it was toxic from like one of the first times we started dating. Example, so like it'd be one of those things where I'm like, I'm texting her like triple, quadruple, a million texts, right? She doesn't respond. Like a week later, she'll like respond, and then it'll be like hours. And so it's just like, oh my gosh. So I'm just like, oh, I'm done with this every time, right? She'll like randomly text me like months later, like, oh, what's up? Like, how's it going? We start a little chit chat, blah, 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 blah. And then it like just dies. So I'm just like, what the heck? Like, I'm doing everything right. Like, what am I doing? I was probably definitely just a tad bit clingy, but you know, like, right. And then even when we were like dating, like she was going through some real like serious stuff, and like I was there for her, and you know, it was just not being reciprocated. Like it came to the point where it was just like, if you can literally just drop talking to me for like days or like weeks, and then just like try to pick up like weeks later and like just text me like nothing happened, then like that's an issue. Like that's a huge red flag. Like, and we were supposed to be like super close and like super into each other. That just does not make sense to me whatsoever. And it literally, I could have been like on my deathbed, like barely alive, and I would have like dropped what I was doing, the fluids and stuff out of me and whatever, to go see what she, like what she needed. Yeah, exactly. So it was like it was to that point where like if I would do anything to help you, and I feel like I couldn't even count on you to help me, like it's just like
this wasn't.
It's not this. It's just like what the heck. So like that's just one example. There's so many more. With this particular girl, but we'll leave it there. So like I definitely had to call it off, and it took you, it took my current girlfriend, and it made it harder because our families were like really close, and so like I don't know, it just always felt like it was meant for us to be together, but it wasn't. Like even if you have this conjured up idea of like everything being perfect, and eventually when she just realizes it'll be fine, like no, like it shouldn't be that difficult. Like it really, you should not have to put that much work into, especially if you call yourselves just friends, and like at the basic level of friendship, like you should not have to put that much work into it. Like honestly, a friendship is something that's just like, oh, like dang, well, like we both click, we both are like-minded, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it comes natural. But to start off saying like we were friends and then try to like force like an intimate relationship from that, and you got to try that hard. That's obvious red flags, and I wish I could have saw that. Could have saved myself a lot of heartache and a lot of time, but I definitely learned a lot from that relationship.
Oh, one of the most prominent ones.
We've been in too many times. Let's just take a moment of silence, man.
Too many heartbreaks, but you know what, man? It is what it is. You know, we live and we learn. My last really big heartbreak, man, was one that like loved the girl, man.
Right.
Everything that I had in me, dude. I thought I was gonna marry her. She was the one. She was so pretty. She was smart. She was fun. For about 4 months. In all seriousness, know that she was a great person, but just together we didn't click, right? But you know, this girl, we started out, man. It was like heaven on earth, dude. Like first 3 months, like we were living the dream, doing things, and
having fun.
Just having a good grand time. And then, you know, things just kind of started turning for the worse. And at this time in my life, man, like, obviously I thought I was going to marry this girl. This girl was the one, man. So, you know, whatever was going to happen, like, I was about to push myself through it because, like, this is the one. Like, that's what you're taught all your life. You know? Hey, like, if she's the one, man, you don't give up. That was my mentality, man. Like, whatever's happening, like, I'm going to put up with it because you're the one. And, man, I remember when you first met her. Oh, dude. I remember we went upstairs and she probably said like 2 words to him, and then we left for something. And he never told me at that time, but eventually, you know, like I could tell from that minute, it just was weird. And I think I apologized to her. I was like, dude, like, I'm sorry. That was weird. It was more like both of us were like just bickering all the time. Fighting, not doing anything, just being a little bit more like lazy in life. You know, we were both going through transitions, and you know, I was like, man, this is a girl, I gotta hold on to her. So I started doing everything in my power to like hold on to her. And like, she at one point was like, dude, hey, like we need kind of a break. And I was like, look, have a break, like it's a break, like, we're done. We're not done. I was convinced that hey, a break was gonna be much needed, which was an awful idea. So, man, this went on for like months and months, and I had moments where like literally, man, I think I had 3 dinners with a group of my friends that were like, dude,
she's not the one.
We love you. You're like super in a bad place, like you're in a bad relationship. Yikes. Get yourself out of it. And I remember being, man, I knew I was, but like I remember being like, dude, I just don't know how to do it. Like,
exactly.
How do I do
and
this?
You're in that deep where you're just like,
like
even if I wanted to, you know, like
Yeah.
how would this go down?
right? And like people are like, dude, like no, she isn't the one. But in your head, like that's all you thought. Man, that's all I thought. And I remember it took a ton, man,
Right.
a ton of like convincing and just like willpower, dude, to finally just one day like we were on this break. And I just remember being like, dude, I can't do this anymore, man. Like in her fairness, you know, like I did get clingy because I didn't want to lose
Right.
her, you know, like so like she wasn't the only bad person. Obviously, we all make mistakes in relationships. So like I was probably like a little bit too clingy.
Right.
Like I wanted something more than she wanted, and I knew that, but like she fed it, like you know, she kept it on.
You were
But-
kind of dependent on it.
yeah. It took a lot of strength and willpower, but man, I finally was like, dude, hey, like we gotta go our separate ways.
Dunzo.
Man, that happened 3 more times. 3 more times that happened to me.
Third time's the charm, man.
Right?
A fourth time like that.
You know, and still to this day, man, I wish nothing but the best, man. But I remember my mom and dad, like I was in bed, I stayed home sick because I was just not, like I was depressed, I was
Yikes.
sad, and they were like, Justin, like, you gotta do something because what you're doing today, being sick, like I think I just got back from the hospital from having IVs. I was like so dehydrated, and they're like, you need to fix your life. And like it was like, dude, I have to do this. Like,
Right,
I don't want
for
to,
you,
but I
yeah.
have to do this. You know what? Like from that, I learned a crap ton, dude. I learned exactly what like a relationship wasn't supposed to be.
Right.
I learned that no
See through the
matter how
BS.
much like you love somebody, like it may not always be. You can't rely and be dependent on someone
Exactly.
else, right?
That's
Huge
huge.
ones.
Yeah.
So many people are dependent on other people,
Right.
and like I was 100%, and I learned like, dude, like I need to know order to love myself and love to be with me. And that kind of leads us like where we are today,
Right.
who the people we are.
Right.
Happy now.
Happy
loving
for you,
life.
definitely.
Right, yeah, exactly. Same,
Happy
man.
for you, man.
Right.
Like, whew. Dodge the bullet there, my man.
Right.
But
yeah.
this is kind of cliche, but I feel like it's true. When you're in a toxic relationship, it's almost like one of those physically abusive relationships that
Yeah.
people kind of stay in. It's just like a cycle that just keeps going around.
Right.
Oh, like I'm gonna leave him. Oh, but he does this for me. Oh, he takes
Right.
care of the kids. So you're kind of dependent on the person that's like the abuser. It stems from you having something going on internally that is keeping you in that place. Like it's keeping you in that cycle. Like there's something that you're maybe insecure about, or there's something that's bothering you
Yeah.
that's keeping you dependent on that person. So
100.
like if it was someone who like knew who they were and like was confident in themselves and know
Right.
what they wanted, it wouldn't be anything for them to be like, hey, like this is not what I want. Like
Yeah.
you're obviously like you're putting me down. You're not giving me the vibes that I need
Right.
in a relationship. So they would cut it off easily. But for someone to have something bothering them or
Insecurities.
they're insecure about
Yeah.
something, it's a little bit easier for them to stay
Right.
a part of that relationship. So.
It's that's what I said. Like you gotta love yourself.
Right,
man.
you
Like,
definitely. I'm glad you realize that.
yeah, you don't have to love all yourself,
Right.
man, but the majority of it. You have to be like,
Exactly.
dude, like these are things that I'm working on.
Exactly. The only person you can control, the only absolute thing you can control is yourself. Like you'll never be able to change.
Dude, you
that-
said it best.
Right,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
there's no like you'll never be able to fix them. You'll never be able to fix anyone to be perfect,
Yeah.
right? But like if you have to fix them, then they're probably not the one for you anyway, right? Like so. I mean, like you can try to address things and have them try to like,
Yeah.
if they care, try to tweak things or whatever to.
Like everybody's no one's perfect.
Right, exactly,
And you
but
gotta learn
not
how
by
to
any
work
means.
with one another. But
Right.
the difference is like it's gotta be reciprocated. It's gotta be that 100.
Right.
Like,
My current relationship is just like
now we love her.
it's literally like, and I'm sure it definitely helps that we were friends for same amount of 9 years before we started dating. But like it is just literally like night and day different from all the other relationships I've been with. Like we're just so like open and we can just communicate and then everything. Like even if there is an issue, like we can talk it out and it like we get to a point where it's like, okay, like well this is where we go from here. Or,
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like okay whatever like fine and then they're like we bringing it up like 3 weeks later or something.
Yeah,
So
we resurfaced.
Yeah,
For
so-
what, the 10th time? No.
yeah, so I was talking a little bit earlier about like an indicator that you might be in a toxic relationship, and that's just being, from my point of view, being talked down on or like just being like disrespected. One of my ex-girlfriends, I can recall like it was like a party type deal, and I vividly remember this. Like, we were leaving and she got mad about something. I don't really remember what the argument was about, but she like hit me and I was just like, what? Like, at first, one shocked me, and then like two like just like pissed me off. The next day, like, I didn't even want to like talk about. I didn't want to like talk to her. Like, I was just like, oh, you're up now. Like, you can leave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but there was a lot with her. Like, that this girlfriend in particular like did a lot of things that was just like, why did I stay this long? You know what I mean? If just simple things like pulled in a little close to the line in the parking stall. Like, are you stupid? Like why do I have to be stupid for like parking a little close to the line or something? You know what I mean? Like, why can't you just be like, hey, like, can you repark, or, you know, like stuff like that. It's just like, why do you have to jump to like calling me a name? Like, why do you have to make me feel like I'm beneath you? You know what I mean? Stuff like that, like huge indicator. And it definitely came to a point where it's like, I don't even know I'm in this relationship anymore, especially when, you know, like my close friends like him would like brought it to my attention. It's just like, dang, like at this point I'm still like caring, like I care for this girl, but like I don't want to hurt her.
Right.
So it was like there was something I still to this day can't put my finger on it, but there was something within me internally that was like keeping me there. Maybe some insecurity that I had, but it was like I was dependent on like staying with her for her feelings, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't want to hurt her, so I like just kind of kept like putting up with it. But thankful, and I'm glad that my friends were able to get through to me and help me realize that I was definitely in a toxic relationship. I mean, like, again, like I'm not mad at any of my exes. I appreciate them, and you know, like, we had good times, some of them, but a lot of stuff I can just chalk up as a learning experience. So,
well, because it made you to the person who you are today with your current girlfriend.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, like, without them and all that stuff that you experienced, like, you and your relationship with your girlfriend now, like, wouldn't be the same, man. And like, I can attest, like, your relationship with your girlfriend now, like, it's not always perfect, but it is.
Right.
You guys are always on one together.
Exactly.
You guys both know each other so well, and like the communication is just.
And I don't have to worry about ever being like spoken down to. Like, even if she has something that like she needs to address to me, it's never like she's coming at me sideways or like talking to me like I'm a 2-year-old.
It's like nice, and it's mutual.
Right,
like,
yeah,
you guys have a mutual understanding of one another.
Shout out to you, girlfriend. You're the best, though. I hope this video helped you guys. If you have questions, you can DM me on Instagram. Right now, that's kind of the only social media I have available for you guys to interact with me besides the comments. Thank you for coming and doing that video with me.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I'll put your Instagram down here below.
Like, trust me, he'll give nothing but good insight. That's why he's one of my best friends. Shit, 9 years, man.
Appreciate
9 long years. So.
Happy birthday to this guy. He just turned 23 too. Golden year. And if you haven't done it already, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe for your boy Cobb Logic. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for supporting me so far. And I'm working on a lot of different videos to come out. So stay tuned. And I'll see you guys next time.
Blast that shit back if you blasting.